Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Kirsten and I'm a money mindset coach for primarily Black and Brown women, and I'm super excited to share with you the number one question that everyone has asked me while I've been living abroad of why I left the United States, particularly California, because everyone's always like shocked and amazed that I would leave sunny, fabulous California to live abroad in Panama. I lived in Panama for 2 years. And so this video, I'm not only going to talk about my why, I'm also going to talk about how I overcame the fear of moving abroad, of living in another country where I didn't know anybody, where I was brand new. So if you are interested in either living in Panama or moving abroad, then this is a video that's going to help you to overcome those fears and really understand what life abroad is like. So if you're enjoying this content, remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more living abroad content and solo travel content as well. So I moved abroad in 2017. And I started in Panama and then I ended up in Spain, which is where I'm not at the moment. I'm not there right now, but in a few weeks, I'm going to be going back to Spain to live in Spain. So the number one reason that I moved abroad, and a lot of people like to joke with me and be like, oh, did you move abroad because of Trump? Even though I did move abroad like when he was becoming president, ironically. Imagine, it's 80 degrees outside, or if you're listening to this and with Celsius, it's like 35 degrees Celsius outside, and you're walking outside with like pants and jacket and a sweater and a hat, and it's just so uncomfortable. That's how I felt living in the United States and living in California, that I would every day get up and kind of put on these layers of my personality to match what other people expected of me. I felt that like everywhere I went, even the people that I grew up with, they kind of just had this like little box, this little frame of who I was. And I felt that no matter what I did, people would always just look at me through a certain lens. And I realized I did a lot of solo traveling before I moved abroad, and I'm going to do more videos about that and talk about that. But after a while, I felt like I just wasn't happy. I think that's really and truly, I don't always say this in conversation because it's kind of like awkward, but really and truly, I just wasn't happy. I wasn't happy living in the United States. I felt like life was so fast paced. Everything was about work. And when I traveled, I just felt more me. I felt like I can say who I am. I can be who I am. Not even just that, but I had the freedom to explore who I truly am. It's really hard to do that when you are surrounded by people who are constantly telling you who you are. So the number one reason that I moved abroad was for myself. Another reason why I moved to Panama was because of the timing, honestly. There is no perfect timing in all honesty, but the timing for me was close to perfect. The timing was close to perfect as I would have liked because I had completed college. I actually got laid off from one of my jobs. I was working as a preschool teacher and I didn't have any other commitments. So I was like, okay, well, I've always wanted to live abroad. I wanted to study abroad when I was college, but never did it. So moving abroad was a good option. And so if you're kind of wondering if timing is right for you, it's whenever you feel ready, that's when the right time is. No matter what's going on in your life, no matter what job that you have, if you love your job and you don't want to walk away from it, you can always talk to your employer and see if there's something that you can work out. You can try remote working, but remember that there is no perfect timing. The only perfect timing, if I had to say, is whatever feels right for you. And that does not necessarily mean when you're ready, but when it feels right. Okay, so that was why I moved to Panama, pretty much because one, I wanted to get to know myself, and two, I wasn't married, I didn't have any kids, and I didn't have um, any super big. I'm also still single and with no kids. Okay, so now I'm going to give you a tip on how to overcome your fear to move abroad, or even if it's just to travel solo, and also tell you if you're interested in living in Panama. This is one thing that you should know. Also, don't ask me why I am now wearing a sweater when previously, before, I was wearing a tank top. I'm just cold all the time. Okay, so I think I mentioned this before. One easy way, and I don't want to say easy way, but one simple way to get over your fear of moving abroad is to figure out exactly what you are afraid of and like go deeper. A lot of times we say like, oh, I don't know anybody. You can meet people. Oh, what if I run out of money? And that comes with budgeting, and that comes with having different sources of income, what comes from working online, all things that I can support you with as a coach. So really, really, really figure out what it is that you are afraid of and sit with that. And go to that worst case scenario, figure it out. What is it that you are truly afraid of? And I think once you understand what you're truly afraid of, you can start making steps, even if it's baby steps, to overcome that fear. It's like if you hear a noise in another part of the room, it could be a burglar, it could be your dog, it could be a rat, I don't know. But I think that fear, a lot of fear comes from the unknown. And you don't know, you fear what you don't know. So the more that you know about a situation, the more you know about a country, the more you can ease your fear. And it all comes down to trusting yourself. A lot of us don't trust ourselves because of maybe past experiences, past trauma. So get into a place of trusting yourself, whether that means taking trips by yourself to another state, another city, whether that means maybe speaking up more at work, or whatever it is. Try to push yourself slowly out of your comfort zone so you can begin to trust yourself. So if you're like on board, you did the inner work, and you're no longer terrified of moving abroad, or maybe you are terrified but you're good into it anyway, and you're like, Panama is on my list, what should I know? Well, the number one thing to know is that Panama, even though it uses the American dollar, even though it is very modernized, even though there is a strong expat community in Panama, know that it is not in any way, shape, or form, the bureaucracy, the government, it is not in any way, shape, or form constructed like the United States. It's just not, which means that things are going to go slower. The visa process there are different options if you want to live there long term. Residency is a long process, but if you find a good lawyer, the process can be a little bit smoother. So be very, very careful about finding a lawyer. Make sure it's someone that has referred you to that lawyer, because there have been cases, I heard this when I first moved, of people hiring a lawyer and paying like $600, $500 to that lawyer, and that lawyer disappears. So make sure you do your research and know that Panama is dramatically, the systems are dramatically, things are not going to run smoothly. You're going to be waiting a long time. It's going to take longer for you to get things. That's just how it is. You're going to need a lot of patience. But you will have that balanced out with beautiful beaches, with mostly friendly people, with mountain ranges, with great food, great culture, great experiences. So, if you have a bad day working with the government or any type of bureaucratic system, I don't know if that's a word, make sure that you just take it with a grain of salt and go enjoy the beautiful country of Panama, because it's a small little country, but it has so much to offer, whether you're going to Bocas de Toros or you're going to the mountains. I totally just blanked out on the province name. the provinces of Cherokee. I highly suggest when you go, if you're moving or visiting, try to check out the different provinces of Panama because they are, El Valle is another one of my favorite places because it's a small country and things are drastically different. The atmosphere, the beaches, go to the south, go to the Pacific side, go to the Atlantic side, try to do it all if you can. Don't stress yourself out, but if you have the opportunity to explore more than one part of Panama, do it. So thank you for watching. I hope this kind of clears up why, if you're curious about like why people are moving abroad, what their motivation is, that was mine. I'm currently living in Spain right now, so I'm going to do another video on why I left Panama and moved to Spain. And if you want to see a little bit more about my life in Panama, you can click up here and watch my salsa dancing videos, and because salsa dancing was a really big part of my life in Panama. It's how I made friends and how I had a community. And if there's any more content around Panama that you specifically would like, leave a comment below, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more content on money, travel, and just living the life that you love.